Hey, everybody, welcome to the Hoot Hobbs Show. I'm your host, Hoot Hobbs. With me, as always, Mr. B.T., Brandon Torres.
Hola.
Okay, got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I got a lot of stuff to make fun of today. I mean, let's be honest. Anymore, it's like
to mock.
Yeah, I would say anymore, I feel like that's what we've become, and it's a lot more fun this way. We're just like, hey, this is in the news, and it's ridiculous, you know? So,
Yeah.
starting off with, dropped a pen, sorry. Starting off with an article you sent me, the man, the myth, the legend, the space traveler, Twitter buying, maybe, genius that is Elon Ray Jackson Musk.
Amber Heard's ex.
Yeah, Amber Heard's
that guy.
ex-boyfriend, you know, she gave him a pretty good shiner. Allegedly. Anyway, so Elon has come out now and said, and this is, surprise, surprise, sparking controversy, on the next election cycle, he will be voting Republican, which is the worst thing a person can do.
Well,
I'm sorry.
well, I think what a lot of people are starting to hit that panic button, if at least people who have some form of a vested interest in this.
Sure.
How a person votes, I personally think
I don't care.
But
it's whatever you want.
But just the people that are hitting the panic button on this one seem to like have conspiracy theories that this means that he's either showing allegiance one way or another to something deeper.
Yeah.
And I am of the mindset that no, if you've ever known anything about Elon Musk and how he seems to operate, probably all he is saying is that I'm going to vote for this person over that person, and that is it. It's as plain as the statement is.
Yeah, and he made it pretty clear. He said, you know, I've always voted Democrat, but it's not serving anymore, pretty much.
So he's
not saying I'm now a registered Republican. He's not saying, oh, I'm a part of the GOP. He's just saying on this next one, I think I'll try something different because this ain't working.
And here's the other funny thing about it. At the end of the day, we don't even know what he does when he goes in behind that curtain,
That's right,
and pushes that button. He could go in there and hit Kanye. We don't know.
You didn't vote Kanye? Oh, I voted Kanye.
Who did vote Kanye?
Well, apparently too many people because he's not our president. Of course, I mean, I watched Genius, the Netflix doc on Kanye.
Yeah.
I'm glad Kanye's not our president.
Yeah, right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan. I like Kanye, but
he has
golly,
bipolar disorder or something. Right?
Yeah, he's struggling, man. He's a struggling man, and I don't know that he's seeking the help that he needs
and
to.
That's the thing
know?
is you need to show compassion for
Sure,
someone that
absolutely.
has a disorder like that. You should never shun away from it, but you don't need that person to be able to hit the nuke button, right? That seems a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's like that.
Bipolar people don't need to be pushing that button.
No, I don't think by anyone who has any kind of.
I don't need to be pushing that button.
No,
I don't need to be anywhere near that button.
No, that's the reason I don't run for president. People will be like, hey, you have this authority. I'm like, oh, do I? Well, I've got an idea. Can we aim it here? And they're like, sir, no. And I'm like, oh. Guys, I'm joking. You know?
I'm kidding. It becomes a Rick and Morty bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. I turned myself into a pickle. Anyway.
Speaking of bipolar.
Okay, so getting back on Elon. So Elon's Twitter deal is still on hold, but he has given everyone, the reasoning behind it. He's wanting accounts to be verified. He's not trying to buy Twitter that is 55% bots.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him.
It's a poor investment, right? If you're buying something that is majority of it is just artificial, not even artificial intelligence, just artificial, just fake accounts.
Yeah.
Which there are a number of bots that are, that's where he's really wanting his answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wanting to know how many of these accounts aren't really accounts. They're just accounts that are being managed by something bigger than just that account, because then that creates the network of fake accounts that are swarming everything.
Everything.
Because, a lot of things are based off of polls, and polls can be swayed by a computer because the computer's told what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So it may play into a larger conspiracy theory that Elon has about artificial intelligence and robots.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or it could just be as simple as I'm not going to waste my effing money on something that's not...
You want me to spend $44 billion on what?
Yeah, I'm not going to make the biggest deal in history over that. No.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I don't. I think that Elon Musk... Look, I think Elon Musk is a genius. That's what I think. I think he's a genius, and I think that every move he makes is calculated. because of, also the fact that he has Asperger's and stuff like that. It would insinuate that he is not known for making rash decisions.
Yeah, no, things are contemplated, and also if something changes, he will let you know that it's changing.
Yeah.
And he's not going to no, but everything's cool.
Oh,
everything's
yeah,
cool. I'm going to mask it. I'm going to mask it.
Yeah. No, he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. And you're like, okay, thank you.
That's part of the reason why Tesla stock is always going up and down, which I am, tinfoil hat conspiracy guy over here. I think all of that is calculated as well, because what do you do when it goes low? What do you do whenever it goes way, way, way high? So
it's buying and selling.
That's all. It's all based on how he reacts on Twitter, or something that he says, or something that he says in an interview, or if he partakes in smoking marijuana on Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, all it was 50% marijuana, 50% tobacco.
Yeah, it was a blunt.
Yeah, it was a good one, apparently. Yeah. I remember watching that, and picks up the blunt, and Joe's just like, that's just marijuana and tobacco. And I was like, well.
You can see, if you watch carefully, you can see Joe trying. It's like a deer coming up to him. He's trying not to scare him away.
He's like, go ahead and try that.
Yeah,
there you go, buddy.
I watched that one when he live streamed that one. That was pretty wild. I watched that one, and I watched. Is he the one that had Obama on his, or somebody had one where they had a really big name on a podcast? I can't remember. It was Marin had it. Marin had Obama on his podcast.
Okay,
that's right. And it was right after he was just president. It's like, Marin, you do your podcast in a garage, bro.
Yeah. What? How'd you get the president there?
Yeah. And
no, seriously, how'd you get the president there? We'd like to get the president.
The following episode was just like, oh my God, there was Secret Service everywhere. It was so intense. And I'm sitting here like we're sitting here right now.
Yeah. It's like, God. Who's your guest? The president. Yeah. Like, what?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
He reached out to our publicist. It's like, we need that kind of publicity, right?
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, I was like, come on now. Could you imagine if Donald Trump came on the show? I'd be like, oh, first off, Mr. Trump, thank you for coming. It's probably the best podcast. He'd be like, I disagree. Okay, it's a good podcast. It might be close to the best, but I have a podcast.
Could you imagine the crowd that it would draw, though?
We'd have people you'd end up with riots outside, because there'd be half of the people who'd be like, get that dude out of here, and the rest of them like, hell yeah, Trump, baby.
And it's so polarizing. You're right. It would be utter chaos.
I know, and I would just stand in the middle of it, knowing.
Feeding off the fire. It's like, what's going on, brother? You're a little dark today.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's get back into the interview. Why are you talking like that? Anyway.
Mind your business.
Okay, so since we're on the subject of absolute nonsense, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that
show's still going.
Yeah, that train is still trying to derail, okay? The engine's off the tracks, but that's a long train, and it's falling car by car.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
So here's what I've learned, okay? Amber Heard is a garbage human being. Johnny Depp, not much better.
Nah, still a trash person.
Still a trash person, but he's significantly funnier, so it works out.
Well, but also, I think what really it is, they had their tumultuous relationship.
Sure.
We knew they fought a lot. Mm-hmm. They got divorced, settlement, breakup, whatever.
Yeah.
She writes that op-ed.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she penned it, and everybody was like, wait, is she talking about Johnny?
Yeah.
Then Johnny Depp, in everyone's mind, was, punching her in the face and hitting her repeatedly. That's how we viewed Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Until now.
I would say, but for the record, this is something I'm actually glad that you and I we went to the same place. Look, you see a woman beat up and she says it was so-and-so, you know damn well in your mind, you go like, hey man, screw that guy.
Yeah.
He don't want to find me.
Yeah.
But the way the system is supposed to work is that you are innocent until proven guilty, and we all condemn Johnny Depp. Everyone
Disney pulled the contract.
Absolutely.
That Harry Potter franchise pulled the plug.
The Fantastical Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic
franchise.
Beasts, yeah.
That they pulled the plug, and he had a good character and a good role.
And now you come to find out that maybe he's just a drug addict. He's not actually beating on women or anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that he abused her, but not physically. I think that's fair to say. I mean, look, we've heard the text messages read now in court.
Yeah, we've heard audio of their fights.
Sure.
The only thing about the audio and the clips that we hear and see we don't ever see everything escalated to the extent that we've been told the physicality got.
Well, because anytime it was being recorded, Johnny was apparently was the one who was responsible for recording. So he's on a little bit better behavior too, I'm certain. But the problem was Amber Heard just didn't care. She's like, yeah, I hit him 100 times. I don't care. I never hit him. What are you talking about? And you're like, bro.
And I'm kind of in that same boat with you. I believe the same thing. They both gave as good as they got. They're both uber toxic. Now, do we know for sure? We have no confirmation of the physical violence from Johnny's end to her.
Yeah.
Nor, other than the finger thing, I guess, do we have much the other way. But we can assume that they.
But she's admitted to striking him and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, she did say, "I didn't ball up my fist and deck you. I was just hitting you." So. When you think of it like that, do you really think of hardcore physical abuse? No, I think of her getting mad and slapping at him.
And hitting
and throwing a fit, essentially, like a child. Which, I mean, they live in Hollywood. They are just giant children. They haven't learned how to become adults. And
they're both actors and actresses that have grown up at such a young age under the media's eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amber started as a teenager and Johnny started as a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. And... They never got the opportunity to grow up and become adults.
They didn't have to suffer through this that we have to deal with.
Yeah, what are you talking about, suffering? Yeah, life, like real life.
Where you got to work for stuff.
Yeah, and then you end up with like kids that depend on you. Because like even in Hollywood, like you have kids, but they're more of accessories than they are anything. You people take care of them for you. At least that's the perception. I'll put it like that. I'm not going to say all of them. I'm just going to say
in order to stay active in Hollywood, you're going to be away from your family for extended periods of time. Yeah. So by default, your family is not going to be with you. Hence, what you're talking about.
Exactamundo.
So if you're an A-list actor, you're probably not going to be #1 dad on the mug.
Right. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I'm a I don't know, what did you say, like a D-list celebrity at this point. We've got 30 people that follow us. So. All right, fine. Maybe a J list. Anyway, J's a long ways down the list. I'm just trying not to get to Z, But I don't know. Basically, what the takeaway from this is they're both toxic human beings. I do think that Johnny Depp is owed, not just from Amber Heard, but from Disney, from the wizarding world, we'll call it, I think he's owed at least his job's back,
Yeah, even if he doesn't want them, I think he's owed an apology for the quick jump to action.
Yeah, and like I said...
Public statement, because, I mean...
A public statement, honestly, that might be all he gets, but it would at least it's something. Hey, Johnny, sorry we fired you for no reason. We just believed this one person who is clearly not a stable human being, and we believed her, and we didn't believe you.
Even if it's as much as extending an offer.
Yeah. I'm about to say, let him turn it down. Because then it's like, okay, well, they offered it back, you turned it down. So it comes down to the street way. Hands laid, debts paid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they make the offer, he denies it. That's the hands laid, debts paid, we're good.
He tried.
Yeah, that's
it.
He
put his effort in. Don't you come back at him. And then if not, let the streets handle it? Or are we getting...
No, I was just meaning like you can make an offer that puts the ball in their court. That's kind of the point I was...
My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. So with this barrage of Johnny versus Amber that's going on, which it almost sounds like a early 2000s horror franchise.
They honestly could have put this on pay-per-view and people would have paid for it.
Bro, I might have. Well, no, because Facebook has been. But, if it's on pay-per-view,
they streamed this whole court case for free and people would have paid money for it.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have paid money. I don't get I watched.
My wife would have. I promise, my wife would have paid to watch this.
If this was on a subscription service that people had to pay to view, no, it's free to the world. Yeah, like YouTube and the internet.
Yeah, bro, I love it. It's trash TV at its best, bro.
It is.
Amber Heard's doing coke in the courtroom. She's
I still don't believe that, but that's...
I don't either. I'm just saying, she's just posing for pictures a lot, and so that's why everyone starts like, can someone explain this to me?
I will say that Johnny's attorney, she is incredible.
She's a savage,
because she is relentless, and she doesn't break easy. I can tell you that. Amber Heard, she got under Amber's skin.
Yeah. Have you seen the duet going around TikTok and on the reels and stuff where Amber's like, my dog stepped on a bee? and makes the stupid face. And then people just start like, it stings when I pee, and then they make the stupid face. They just keep rhyming it.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I do know the bee face because they've used that because there have been a couple of times under oath that Amber Heard has appeared to try to cry and not been able to muster up a tear.
I know, because he's lying so much. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
It shows the appearance of lying, but at the very least... You're an actress and you can't fake tears.
I mean,
I can probably fake tears right now.
I can at least look down and poke myself in the eye or something. I mean, my gosh.
I'm pretty sure I could get emotional right now and cry.
So what we're saying is that, like, everything else aside, what this court case has proved is that Amber Heard is not a good actress. So, and I know that I'm kind of like Team Johnny right now, but and I'm not even really trying to be because screw him too. But
I agree with you on that. But I want to see his name, if he didn't hit anybody, be clear. Because I don't want anybody to be accused of something so horrendous and not have committed.
And that's the whole thing. That's a cultural thing that we've gone through over the past probably 10 years. We'll call it. All it takes is an accusation to ruin somebody. And don't get me wrong, if the accusation proves to be true, then that person deserves to be ruined.
Yeah. But that's what everybody did is they thought like, oh, this really happened because she's made her statement and then she refused to really talk about it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that
she did portray herself as that victim.
Yeah, and clearly she might have been a victim, but she was not the victim. They were both victims and assailants in their,
Well, I went back and I read the op-ed that she had wrote, and she did try to. Again, there were never any names in it.
Yeah,
and she does have that she didn't say any of this.
Yeah,
she just said in her previous relationship, and everybody's like, "Oh, wait, who is she dated?"
She's like, "Oh, it's Elon." And I'm like, "No, come on, Elon's not hitting nobody."
Well, that and the fact that the relationship with Franco and Elon were both really, really brief, and the relationship with Johnny was a marriage. True. So that's where people drew their connections, and she does try to portray it as if she was a victim of domestic abuse, not that she was giving domestic abuse back.
Right.
And I think that's where people are really outraged. That she tried to get sympathy
whenever she was just as guilty. We won't say she was the guilty one, but she was just as guilty.
They were both victims. They were both... What's the
perpetrators, assailants?
They gave, like they say, they gave as good as they get.
Yeah.
Neither one of them should have been giving.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with that. So we talk all this nonsense, Johnny versus Amber, to prove a point. Though we talked a little bit longer on it than we wanted to, but we did it on purpose because while this has been going on, do you know what you've been missing? That's right, I'm talking to you, trash TV watcher person.
Yeah, people that are obsessed with what's going on in the mainstream media.
I.e. me.
Us.
Yeah.
This show.
But while you were out, UFO sightings are up like 4 million%. And there's even been documentation from the Pentagon over it. Like apparently there's something in question from a picture from the Mars rover. There have been military, like not Steve Jim from the trailer park. We're talking about like military personnel with some kind of documentation. I don't know what it is, but some kind of documentation stating, that we're being visited.
Yeah, they did admit that as well. It appears that we're being visited by whatever some of these objects are that they can't identify their origin.
Yeah.
They make really peculiar maneuvers. So they're trying to rule out drones?
Yeah,
drones
they're trying to rule out drones and satellites, but they've pretty well ruled out satellites because of the altitude.
Yeah, and
they're saying that if there was a satellite that low, it's crashing. So I said, okay, that's good. That makes good sense.
Yeah. Plus, you would, like you said, they would find the wreckage.
Exactly. And so now the biggest thing they're trying to disprove, like in order to prove UFOs, you have to disprove everything else. Once again, it's just something until it's something else.
It should always be the burden of proof.
Yeah, exactly.
Until something is proven, it's always eligible for debate.
Now, I know that we've had this conversation before in season 1, but there's bound to be people listening to this show now that weren't listening back then.
Oh, no
so
doubt.
We did talk about UFOs a little bit, and
good episode.
Yeah, it really was, and you can go back and check it out. I don't remember what it's called, but we'll try to share a link to that later.
We'll share that episode again on our page.
But so what do you believe? Are we alone?
me as a person. I'm not atheist. I'm not religious. I'm agnostic.
Sure.
I am always open to anything.
Sure.
Now, as of right now, no. What I believe is what we've been told by these people. I don't believe they're telling us everything.
Sure.
But I do believe that, yes, if they're saying that we have these things, then yeah, of course, they're telling us that. That's true.
Yeah.
But what aren't they telling us? What
Sure.
more do they know? Why are they holding
Right.
it? And also, I really don't want to know because I'm perfectly happy living my little
Yeah,
life.
just living in ignorance
Yeah.
is bliss.
Yeah, you know.
I say I'm the same way as far as attitude goes. Ignorance is bliss. I'm fine, but I am one of those people that'll say like, because I am super religious, and all I'm saying is if my God is all powerful and omnipresent, why couldn't there be something else out there? I mean, you know what I mean?
There are some people within, your own religious faith that would debate that
disagree
with
with me whole. In fact, will call me names over it.
Yeah, they'll get upset with you and then also question your faith.
Yeah, my faith, and I'm like, bro, if anything, I'm giving, I'm giving God more power because I believe that, like,
he can do anything.
Yeah, like here's the deal,
or he or she.
Yeah, I would say.
God.
I would say just because of my faith and in the Bible and what it says is for me it is a he.
Yeah,
it is referred to as he. So that's why I go
the
there.
The entity is of God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll just say
all
God,
powerful
the Lord.
God. Yeah. When you're saying God, you're not like trying to say like this all powerful.
Yeah,
entity.
You have to understand.
If this were a Marvel character,
yeah,
we're talking the most powerful.
Yeah, we're talking
ever.
all of them. Okay, we're talking all of them in one. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, so I think that there could. I'm open to the possibility that there could be something else out there. I definitely don't discredit it. I have no proof of it, so therefore I'm not one of those like we are not alone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone was like, "Hey, we found out there's aliens in the universe," I'd be like, "Well, I mean, it seems like statistically that seems." Probably that's probable at least. Probable at least.
As a person who does put a lot of faith and belief in science, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's absolutely no reason for me to believe that there isn't life out there. That doesn't make sense to actually try to say that there isn't.
Right.
It's just like trying to say that we're the only universe in existence. Like there's not other universes of us.
Yeah.
So
I would say, and Marvel taught us there's a multiverse. Okay, Doctor Strange messes everything up. For some reason, Wanda just becomes a serial killer. I don't know. If you haven't seen the movie, sorry, spoiler.
Is this the best timeline, right?
Yeah. Like, you want to know about the whole movie? Wong, dope. Doctor Strange, still kind of irritating, but that's more of a Benedict Cumberbatch thing.
I liked him better as Puff the Magic Dragon in that Hobbit movie.
Oh, yeah, he was. He was.
Smaug.
Yeah, I forgot that he was the...
He played the deep voice of the dragon.
Yeah, which is strange because, like, then you see him and he's like, "Hey, I'm Benedict." You're like, "Get out of here." I like him as the Grinch, to be honest with you. He was dope as the Grinch.
I like Benedict. I like him as Sherlock. I like him as an actor.
I would say, I keep on saying he's irritating. Well, he is irritating, but I do really like, every time he's in something, I like it.
I think he's supposed to be playing that irritating guy, though. That's part of it.
Yeah, they're like, "Benedict, listen, we need you to, I don't know, just act normal."
He does seem in, like, normal interviews that he would be kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you and I, we like to cut loose and talk about things that are risque. I feel like we couldn't make jokes about stuff we joke about.
Like, we start making dick and fart jokes around him, he's going to get uncomfortable and leave.
Careful, guys. Don't want to offend the narc.
Yeah. Watch out, narc over here. Doctor Strange is a narc. All right, so
I think we have a name of this episode.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is a narc. That's awesome. And he might have come down with a case of the monkey bones, okay? So that's another thing that we've missed.
God, if this is the best timeline, WTF. WTF.
So people are coming down with the monkey bones. Monkeypox. I keep saying monkey bones. Yeah. Where am I going with this? Brendan Fraser has a pet monkey. I don't know. It's animated. It's weird. Okay, so monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
Which is not a stupid animated movie. It is a real thing. Okay. Similar to any other pox virus.
It's very bad with skin.
Yes. It is a skin irritant that can cause infection and like fevers and things like this.
The fevers and things that it can bring upon can ultimately cause death.
Right. Just like any pox.
I mean,
pox like this.
smallpox wiped out an entire nation of people.
Yeah. So, okay. So you have this monkeypox thing, and we said that like last year there were 2 or 3 cases in the U.S., but they were all people who had traveled to Africa or to Nigeria specifically.
There were only a few cases, and the cases they had been able to track them back to those people had traveled abroad.
Sure.
So the interesting case in this one, this Massachusetts man, is he had traveled abroad, but his abroad was just across the border.
So, which leads us to this.
Why is there monkeypox in Canada?
Why is there monkeypox in Canada? So you have to do more source tracing, right? Just like they did for seemingly forever. That was a word I never wanted to use again after COVID, but we're going to have to do source tracing. So, I guess I would assume like the Mounties or something. Or
I think you just had like a flashback when you said it.
Oh, I did, man. I said source tracing. I was like, you got to wear the condoms. Anyway. So I don't know if the Canadian government is trying to do source tracing. I don't know.
They probably are. I mean,
sure.
It's something that the entire world is
watching right now. They're like, hey, no, we just got over COVID-19. Let's not up to COVID-22. Okay,
we don't need that mixing with that and making super bug.
2023. What we've got is bat pox now. What we got is puppy monkey baby pox. Okay, that's right. I went Mountain Dew on them. Puppy monkey baby. Where am I going with it? Okay, yeah. So monkeypox is a thing.
Puppy monkey baby. I forgot about that commercial.
That was pretty disturbing.
Deep cut.
Yes, it's deep cuts. Okay, so monkeypox is a real thing, and it is in the U.S. Listen, y'all, no cause for alarm yet.
Not yet.
I believe that just like any pox, it is treatable. It is okay. We are equipped. Let's just stay away from monkeys.
It's also if you know anybody that has a skin abrasion or rash like that,
maybe
you might want to stay away.
Maybe don't lick it. I think you know what, buddy boy. I feel like that's good advice. If you see a rash, don't lick it.
Yep.
I think that's something that every man of every faith can get behind.
Amen, brother.
Testify.
You see a rash, don't lick it.
Yeah. Well, see, there's another title, right? that one will get no listens.
That was like
either that or it's going to get a ton of clicks. People are like, what are these idiots talking about? You've got a WWE situation that is not... it is sports related because, it's WWE, but like it's more of a...
behind the scenes
situation.
It's more...
And it's more of... I don't know. The way it feels is more like these people are, kind of
like actors.
Well, no. I was just saying they're kind of standing up for themselves on some issues on what's going on.
Yeah, there's deeper meaning to this as far as coming at it from the professional wrestling fandom perspective. So
yeah,
I'll get into that part too. But just as general, just talking about the Sasha and Naomi situation here, right? Okay. So let me get you guys caught up to date. What we're going to be talking about is 2 professional wrestlers in the WWE, high-profile wrestlers, just decided while a live television show was being produced, WWE Raw, that over creative differences, they were going to give their belts back because they are the current champions and walk out.
Okay, so basically this was a... I don't even want your accolades. I'm out of here.
This was these titles are meaningless. What are you doing? Take them.
Wow. So this is a real deal, like bona fide. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Yes, because Sasha Banks and Naomi are the reigning WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So WWE Women's Tag Team Champs. Got
it.
Okay.
It's their championship belt. It's a big deal because when you're a champion in professional wrestling,
you get the big awesome belt.
You're going to be the one that's going to be promoted in the storylines as the champion. It means something. It's significant in professional wrestling. Anyway, what happens is it appears that they're no longer the champions because and I'm reading an article from Sports Illustrated. I want to give credit to Justin Barrasso. It's a great article. I recommend anybody else reading it as well. But Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw on Monday over a creative dispute that involved the direction of that night's show, as well as their future together. After receiving assurances from Vince McMahon over the past few months that there would be renewed focus on the women's tag team titles, which should be the case when someone involved the star power of Banks, that is yet to happen since the duo won the belts over a month ago at WrestleMania 30. With frustration mounting, Monday's Raw served as the breaking point. Banks and Naomi ultimately returned their tag titles to John Laurinaitis, who is the head of talent relations, and then walked out. The plan was for Raw was to have a six-pack challenge match that would have ended with Naomi winning, including pinning Banks and becoming the number one contender for the Raw Women's title. She would have then challenged Bianca Belair for the title at Hell in a Cell, a match where all signs pointed to Belair winning. So she was going to win this match just to lose.
So she was going to defeat her partner,
yes,
just to go on and lose in the next go round.
Within the next month.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can understand why that ruffles feathers.
A pay-per-view match against Belair, even if it ended in defeat, would have been a major moment for Naomi because she hasn't really had a whole lot of those moments on her own as a wrestler on the screen.
Okay.
But she and Banks are taking a long-term risk by walking out. McMahon and company were quick to react and did so publicly. WWE released a statement and had Corey Graves criticize their walkout on the air during Raw. The WWE statement also designed to damage the reputations of Banks and Naomi, especially when stating Banks and Naomi were, quote, claimed they were uncomfortable in the ring with two of their opponents, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence, end quote. That was on the WWE's public statement on the matter.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm not going to quit quoting his article because we're going to pick up from there with our opinions on the subject. But have you ever had a situation like that where you've been involved in something creatively or otherwise where you saw it going in the opposite direction to where you felt passionately enough about that you would make such a move?
Yeah. I had a motorcycle club.
Yeah.
I mean, that's of course. I mean, a lot of these type of situations. That's always where it goes back to because I spent a lot of time and effort, and you know that was kind of my passion project.
Yeah, your passion project. You nurtured, and it turned into something.
Yeah. So I mean, and at the end, it had become something I never wanted it to be, and even though I kept riding out with them and everything, I finally just saw my life becoming something it wasn't supposed to be. And so I took my ball and went home. I
gave over. Yeah, you gave it over to them to have at it, and you went on, right?
Yeah, and said y'all can keep all that. I just want my family, and that's.
Well, I can respect that because you did it for the right reasons, and I can respect what they're doing because I think that they're doing it for the right reasons. Because, like I read to you, what the plan was. Yeah. The plan was for her to beat her partner. Yeah. For the current champion, her partner, and they're phenomenal wrestlers. Sure. Just to go on to lose in a match that anybody else could take that pin and lose that match because the champion that's the current champion is remaining the champion anyway. Yeah, exactly. So what is the point of what are they even doing? When they were promised, when they even agreed to win those titles to begin with. That's the other thing is, spoiler alert, professional wrestling is kind of a show. What? So the outcomes are predetermined. No. So whenever someone is told that they're going to be giving a title, it is significant because it is your boss, someone in a position of creative talent and power and authority is giving you the green light to be the person that's going to be on television. Yeah. That's going to have merchandise made after you. That's going to have cameras on you. Sure. So it's a big deal. And the promise was made, no, we're not giving this to you just because you're Snoop Dogg's niece. We're giving this to you because you're worth the attention that we're going to give you and this division, which has been a lie because there are no other tag teams in that division. Yeah. That's the other spoiler alert about the WWE is their women's division that has been under a women's revolution for a while has taken a huge step back because there's not a whole lot of attention paid to it like it used to be. Yeah. So everyone used to like the WWE divas, man. Yeah. Well, it was a change. They changed things from the way women used to be treated in the Attitude Era, where they were just sex objects, to where we learned that they could wrestle. Sure. And they could have wrestled all along, but they broke down barriers to where they were treated as superstars and wrestlers rather than just divas. Objects or just a manager whenever we were objectified. Like whenever we were younger and because I quit watching wrestling as a kid, but
the Attitude Era though, that's when you would have been watching. Exactly. So it's like that
was hot 90s culture right there.
Yeah, bro. And like the ladies came out, scantily clad women, and they were always just like arm candy, for, oh man, I don't even remember some of these dudes' names. Like Triple H, of course, he's married to his arm candy, so that's a little bit different. But
but no, at the same time, I see what you're saying. Typically, it was a valet that would come out like Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah,
she never really did anything.
Yeah, she was just there.
Yeah.
So and what was the dude who? Man, I can't remember. He was like
Was his character a pimp?
Yes.
It's the Godfather and his parade of quote here hoes.
Yeah, the hoe train.
That was the hoe train.
Yeah, I remember that.
He would come out with scantily clad women, which behind the scenes, again, wrestling, what these women were the local gentlemen's establishment ladies. They would. Somebody in talent relations would go down there.
Say, hey, would you like to make some more money?
All you have to do is come out here and dance whenever the music plays. Yeah. That's it. Just kind of dance.
And for these ladies, they were probably like, I get paid good money to do that anyway, and y'all going to pay me more? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And I can keep my clothes on.
And I'm on TV. Yeah. So, it was that was how that was, but time is so different now.
It really is. That's one of those things that I'll actually say, I think I think it's better now.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of things that
it's cringe now looking back upon it.
There's a lot of stuff that is. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff from back in the day that are like, man, that was just better. The way like women were portrayed, like in professional wrestling or movies, even. It's better now. It's better now because you're a people and you're being treated like a people now.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's why it's hard to go back and watch some of that old stuff. I mean, we were talking earlier how I've been binging out on old crap on all of my streaming platforms. And one of the things that I watched was that movie Grind.
Yeah, dude, 2001. I love Grind. I love that movie.
And it's just like a capsulation of that time and date because none of that movie makes any sense in a modern world.
It doesn't,
whatsoever. Bro. Not a single part of it. Not the way that they talk, not the way that they dress, not the way that they skate.
Hold on. Hold the phone. What do you mean the way they dress? I still dress like that. I mean, for the most part.
Well, yeah, so do I. But
but that's because we're from then. We're from that era.
We're the elder millennials hanging on to that style of that generation because it's how we dressed when we were young.
Yeah, man. But no,
they were wearing like Etnies shirts and
Element,
Independent.
Independent was the big one. Was one of the big ones,
and it was a lot of really sophomoric humor. And the portrayal of women in it was just basically not, other than whenever an attractive woman would be in a scene.
So anyway, to make the connection though from things you've been watching to this WWE is we talked about the Metallica doc, Some Kind of Monster, which painted a different picture. Like we learned, especially being like rock and roll fans, we learned that James was a head case.
And Lars
was a narcissist.
Yeah, and a narcissist.
Yeah, I would say what I think we learned was this, is that James found God and Lars found out it wasn't him. That's a joke. But like watching that documentary, though, the connection I'm making is that these two ladies with the WWE kind of did what James Hetfield did.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, okay, look, this is just as much my band. In fact, if anything, people know me more than they know Lars.
The drummer in the background?
Yeah. But like every time he's like, I think we should do this, Lars throws a fit, and I learned that he's just a giant child. And of course, we already didn't like him because we are from the generation that loved Napster, right?
Yeah, because we were the generation that Napster was going to revolutionize music for, which it did. It
did.
Eventually
it
evolved
opened
into
up
everything that we have
which now we do pay for it in subscriptions, but we don't pay per song anymore. We pay for a monthly subscription. We have unlimited music.
Yes.
That's a good compromise for people like us because we were from the days of LimeWire and FrostWire and Napster and every other pirating software you could download.
That would get shut down as fast as you could get them.
It would give your computer herpes in a day.
We were just kids with MP3 players loaded with these songs.
Yeah,
that we
burnt
got off
CDs. Man. just like MP3 CDs, man. You could do everything in MP3 format. You can get 126 songs on a CD, and you pop that thing in your truck, man, and just let the speakers bang.
But
that's what we did.
Go back in time, like you said. At that time, they were selling either you could purchase the album, or you could buy the individual songs at like $1 a piece. Well, $100 for 100 songs is a lot of money.
Yeah, and not worth it,
especially when you're a kid.
Yeah, and $12 for the single. You know, you got the hit single off the album that's about to drop, then one extra song from the album. So what would you pay $12 for it?
So what would we initially end up doing? We would buy a CD of something that we really, really, really loved, and then we would get rips of all of the other things.
Yep, that's it.
So I guess as time evolved, we've gotten to where we now have like Spotify and Apple Music and these streaming platforms where you pay a subscription just to have music of these database.
Yeah.
And now they can track with algorithms, these artists are getting paid by stream. So they've changed. It's revolutionary, and it all opened the door with something that Lars had an issue with.
Yeah. Remember the little cartoons they made of James? He's like, beer good, Napster bad, that kind of stuff. Anyway, getting back on subject, whenever Lars and James would have these artistic headbutts, we'll call them, like, I guess James just finally got tired of it. He's like, you know what, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
And he just quit the band. Like, we didn't realize that Metallica just broke up.
Sometimes you have to do that, though. Sometimes in order to show somebody that you mean what you say, you have to walk away.
Yeah.
And what is that expression that we've often said, and we'll probably end up talking about this when we talk about sports in our next show. But if you love something, don't you let it go?
Yes. Yeah. And if it's meant to be, it will return. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, man. If Colby was here, I would have been like, oh, Trina, why did you have to go? But, he hasn't dated that girl in over a year.
It's been a minute.
I don't even know if he's still.
And like he said, it's not even her name.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's the name I always call her. Anyway. So the whole point was this, taking your ball and going home. There's only so much a person can take before they do exactly what you say. Say, like, okay, you clearly don't believe that I'm serious about this, so I'm going to walk. So I'm going to go ahead and say for these two ladies with WWE, more power to you. I'm with you.
I think
get your money, girl.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about someone like Sasha Banks. She could walk away. She's probably honestly slumming it being in wrestling now as it is. So she's on the Mandalorian for crying out loud. So I mean,
that's the whole thing. She doesn't need wrestling.
So she's trying to get them to raise the bar, which it greatly needs the bar needs to be up. So I agree with it. I stand behind what she's doing. It seems like her coworkers are standing behind her too, which is also an interesting point because they're still actively working for the WWE.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Old Vince will get upset about that, I'm sure.
He's a narcissist and a sociopath in a lot of ways.
The
character that he portrays on TV is pretty wild, but the person, Vince McMahon, the billionaire, is pretty wild as well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, everybody, so thank you for staying with us so far. I guess this far, whatever I'm trying to say. That's going to be it for the Hoot Hop Show, man. We appreciate you guys staying with us, man. Find us on the socials. Send us a message, an email, a chat on something. I don't know. You can find us on YouTube.
Just reach out to us, man.
Yeah, just do something, you heard? We love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. We're going to continue to try to support you, too. All right? From BT, from myself, we bid you